Hey guys, welcome back to another Warframe video where today we are going to be talking about Isolation Vault bounties, which is something I have been doing a considerable amount of recently in my Warframe Done Efficiently series. So yeah, I thought I'd just give a brief kind of overview guide video on them, how best to farm them, which missions you should choose depending on what you're actually farming, because you do want to play this slightly differently depending on what you are going for. And yeah, we'll kind of run through a quick build that I have been using and any other kind of tips and tricks that I think you could kind of slot into running these, because Isolation Vaults are generally considered to be one of the more dull, boring, repetitive missions in Warframe, but they can actually be quite fast and they can be quite lucrative, both in terms of resources and also platinum. So yeah, we're going to run through this and take a look at just kind of what I've been doing in my Warframe Done Efficiently series. We're going to do this from a solo perspective for this video. However, if you wanted to run in a squad, a duo, then you can either run extra vaults. We're going to be running vault in this video. You can run more vaults if you want. Vault's always a good option. Or you can run a Necros. Only run a Necros if you are looking to farm the Necromex, because he can obviously use Desecrate, his third ability, to get some additional loot from that. So if you're looking to farm Necromech weapon pods, capsules, that kind of stuff, or even the matrices that you need to rank up with Lloyd on Deimos, then by all means run yourself a Necros, because he will give you extra of those. And yeah, that's basically why you do it. You can also run a Chesakubrow as well, maybe rather than a Smeeta, because the Chesakubrow gives a 45% chance to give extra loot from corpses, but the Smeeta Kavat obviously gives you that chance to get double drops, so you know there's a bit of a trade-off there. I always run a Smeeta, it's just what I prefer. But yeah, we'll run through the vault build here, and it's going to be extremely overpowered for what you actually need for this. But you know, if you want a more kind of simplified build, just, you know, drop down the power. You don't need the Umbral mods on here. It really is this crazy, because I use Vault pretty much all the time. I use them for Eidolon hunting as well. So yeah, that's basically why. So yeah, if we just run through this, there's a few things on here that you should keep. So Corrosive Projection I would recommend keeping, as well as probably Shock Trooper actually. That can provide some really nice additional damage. And then you just want a decent amount of strength. Anything over 200% is probably fine. And you want some duration on there as well. Probably 150% plus is a decent amount to have, I'd say. Anything else you want to throw on is absolutely fine. But I would recommend having a bit of durability on there, just so that you can stay alive for, you know, the Necromech fights and all that good stuff. So that's the first thing. Arcanes, you don't really need either of. These are, again, just for quality of life. The Guardian here is just going to provide me with a bit of extra endurance. And the Energize is going to make sure that my energy pool remains nice and high. But really, you actually do collect quite a lot of energy orbs throughout this. So, again, not strictly speaking necessary. And you could also, if you want to, put on, you know, something else on here, maybe like Eclipse. Although, considering it underground and the light levels are a bit low, maybe not Eclipse. You could put... what is it, Nourish on there if you wanted to. All that good stuff. Go ahead and throw that on through Helminth, but for the purposes of this video, I'm not running anything here that's been subsumed. So let's move on and look at the weapons I'm using. I am using Felarx and I am using Latum. Reason being that we can just throw on a load of radiation damage here, and it has a super hard-hitting damage capability on this Evolution 5 here, with the 50% chance to deal plus 2000% damage. You can see I haven't really invested a whole lot into this. We still have the Exilus slot open, and we don't have a Riven for it. Same goes for the Latum as well. Again, no Exilus slot open here, and really only 3 former. I could be throwing a lot more on here. I could also be throwing on Primed Heated Charge if I wanted to, but I just haven't had the time to get around to formering this. So yeah, again, that's something to note. Bear in mind that we are using Evolution 5 here on Devouring Attrition, where we can get that additional 2000% damage on non-crits. The Latum is actually a really useful tool for killing the Bone Widow Necromechs, which you will see when we come to do a quick run of this. But then we're also using Plague Krapath. This is for clearing out large swathes of enemies, so if you have a big grouping, this is a great tool to use. And again, we're going to combine this with Arcane Anomaly, which I will show in a second on my operator. And then Unairu we're running just so that we don't get knocked over all the time. The Infested tend to bowl themselves into you quite a lot and knock you over. So on Unairu, You have poise, which can allow you to stay standing, similarly to what Prime Sure-Footed does. If you have access to Prime Sure-Footed, then by all means throw that on. But poise is a great alternative to that in case you don't want to get knocked over. Parazon doesn't matter at all. We're not going to be using it. Like I said, I'm using my Smeety Gavats. This is the basic build that I've got for that with no Former. So Link Health, Link Armor, Tech Enhance, Fetch, Primed Animal Instinct, and that beautiful Charm skill where we're likely to get, or not likely to get, but we can get double resources. Gear-wise, you don't need anything. You can run a Necromech if you want, but we're probably not going to be using a Necromech at all during this. You can also run Energy Restores and On-Call Crewmates. The On-Call Crewmate can be used towards the start, and I'll explain how that can be used when we actually get into an example run. And then for our Arcwing, I'm just using Itzal with Hyperion Thrusters to help us get around Deimos a bit faster. That, combined with the Volt's second ability, makes you move very, very quickly. So just before we get in, pointing out on my operator that we have ourselves Magus Anomaly right here that's going to be able to pull in enemies towards us. And that tool is going to be used a bit later on for the Arcana missions. But let's just quickly hop into Deimos and explain the kind of structure of this video moving forward. Alright guys, so we're now in Deimos and we're talking to Mother, and if you scroll to the bottom of her bounty list, you can see the 3 Isolation Vault bounties right here from Tier 1 to Tier 3. You need to do each one to unlock the next tier. And if you take a look at what it actually says, it says clear 1 vault to access new bounties, clear 3 vaults for the rarest rewards. So what that kind of implies is that if you were to do Tier 1 in the Cambion Drift, and then whilst you're still in there, you clear the 2nd vault and the 3rd vault, you would get the rarest rewards possible from that bounty. Now, I've run this a lot, and I can't speak to the validity of that as to whether or not that changes, because from my experience, it's been very random, the rarity of rewards that I get for each tier. So what I've done, or what I did in my playthrough and with my clan, is rather than thinking about it in terms of, oh, I want the rarest rewards, I'm just going to do all 3 every single time, you want to pick and choose which one you want based on the drop that you need. So if you need just drops from the Necromechs themselves, so that would include the weapon, not the weapon part, sorry, the Necromech capsule, weapon pod, all that stuff, as well as matrices, perhaps if you're just farming standing for Lloyd, then you should basically just do the Isolation Vault Tier 3 over and over and over again. You may as well not even unlock the vault itself. You may as well just kill the Necromechs and get out. Because you're only farming for the Necromech parts and the standing. That's it. If you wanted to get a specific bounty drop, so either common, uncommon, or rare, from these Isolation Vault bounties, then you are better off picking the tier that you need. So for example, if you needed the Sporothrix barrel, you should pick Tier 3. And you can then run that over and over, not over and over, sorry. You can pick that, run the Isolation Vault, then you can do the Arcana bounty afterwards, which you run over and over and over again. And we'll explain that when we get into it. Because when you do the Arcana bounty, it works the same as a normal bounty mission where it has 4 stages. And when you get to the 4th stage, you have a much increased chance of getting a rarer reward as well as a bonus drop from it as well. So you get 5 rewards for the bounty in the same time that it would actually take to run the Isolation Vault. That's essentially what I'm saying. So yeah, we'll split it into 2. If you want to just get the Necromech parts and the standing for Lloyd, just do the Isolation Vault bit. Don't even open the vault once you're in there. Kill the Necromechs, get out, repeat. If you want to get the bounty drops, do the vault, clear the vault, and then do the Arcana bounties afterwards, which is what we are going to do in this video, because obviously it covers killing the Necromechs anyway at some point, so you guys can see how I'm going about doing that. So we're going to go ahead, throw on Isolation Vault Tier 3, clear the vault, and then do the Arcana bounty afterwards. So let's go ahead and whack that on. Okay guys, so obviously once you've started the bounty mission, you need to go ahead and collect yourselves up some either Voam or Fast Residue. So I'm just finishing that up right now. And then you can come over to the bait station and put that in. Now if you're running Itzal, there's a neat little trick you can do. You can use your second ability to shroud the point, and this will prevent any units melee attacking it. The drones can still shoot it if they know you're there, but the melee units, such as the chargers, they cannot attack the point now. It is basically invincible to them. So what I'm going to do just for this bit, and I'm going to make use of the time, I'm going to charge up my Latent by trying to land headshots on these targets. And that way I can then get my Latum to its Incarnon form, which is going to be important for taking down the Bone Widow mechs, should we get any. Alright, so you heard that noise there. That means that our Latum is now charged. And there we go. That's now finished. So let's pick this up and head over to the vault. So once we get into this bit here, we have to then clear out the infested before we can proceed into the vault itself. So we're going to go ahead and launch this at that. If you miss this, by the way, you have to do the whole first bit over again. So make sure that you do hit that. Now what you can do while you're down here, and what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put down my uncle crewmate. He is going to defend me, and you can go ahead and do some mining, because as you can see on the map in the top left there are so many materials in here that I don't even have to, like, bother fully collecting these. I can just go around and get them, and you will find that some of the rarer resources, like Thormica, which you just saw there, are quite a bit easier to get in these caves than, you know, the normal caves. So, yeah, I'm just going to go around for this bit whilst my uncle crewmate defends me, and I'm just going to farm up a load of resources whilst doing this. It is a great time to do that. Even better, guys, we got a buff from our Kavat. You can see in the top right that giant countdown, which means that we're going to get double drops here from everything. And it also means we're going to get double drops from the Necromech when we come to kill them. Or at least hopefully. Let's make sure that our toxicity levels don't get too high. I think we'll be alright. Alright, so 5 seconds left. I'm going to put my Latum into its Incarnon form. And then we're going to come through, get stuck, obviously. Because it's Deimos and you get stuck everywhere. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and have a look for these Necromechs. Now, if we're against a Void Rig, I'm just going to use my Felox, like this guy right here. Unfortunately, he managed to use his resistance before I could start shooting him, but we should be fine here, I think. Let's use our Incarnon Latum to finish him off. Never mind, we got it done for us. So the last guy is a Bone Widow. We've actually managed to get these all very close together, which is rather nice. So you can see here with the Latum, we can actually hit the weak points of the Bone Widow from wherever. Nice, so that's all tidied up. And yeah, we got a lot of drops from that because of our Kavat. So now what we should do is we should go around and have a look for the vault which we need to open. You can also do these extra vaults as well. I'm not going to go into detail on those because they do take a bit of time. But if you want to find out how to do those, there are plenty of guides online and on YouTube on how to complete them. Okay, here's our vault. So we're going to go ahead and activate that. Use our second ability to speed Lloyd up. Now, he can get very stuck. Especially actually around this particular tile set right here. If he does that, just give him a bit of time. Usually he will unstuck himself. If he's stuck there for, you know, more than a minute, then maybe you're in a bit of trouble and you'll need to restart. But most of the time, you should be fine. And since we're going to be doing the Arcana missions after this and not more vaults, it doesn't really matter if we have to restart because we only need to get through this mission once. So right here, yeah, a bit of stuckage, but he's going to get down here just fine. And we got to remember the pattern. I like to do this in terms of just a shape. So right, right, and then, yeah, left, left. Nice and easy. So we just go round in a circle on this one. There we go. And I'm going to use my Exodia Contagion to just break open all of these containers. Lovely. So you can see there we got 2 residual boils, so we're not going to get an extra drop here because we got two of the same, unfortunately, but it does happen, you know. So let's get out now and have a look at what these Arcana missions entail. Okay guys, so for the Arcana missions, you want to come back to Mother, who you will find just outside of where the entrance to the vault is, and to the right, the one you just went in. And you can see here there is or the last one on there, Deimos Delicacies in this case, we can go ahead and accept that. This is an Arcana bounty mission. And yeah, we're going to basically be given 4 tasks to do inside the vault. So we're going to immediately head to the vault opening because it's going to definitely ask us to come down here. So let's head on down. So the first mission we've got here is an assassination mission. We need to collect some parts, which is going to involve us killing a load of enemies. It's probably worth noting at this stage that if you have more people on your squad, you have a higher chance of being able to do this very quickly because you'll get more enemies spawned in. And yeah, generally speaking, it just progresses faster because you can get more things. More drops, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to begin infusion. I'm going to make use of my arcane anomaly right here and drag enemies towards the point. And then just clear them out with my Exodia Contagion. There we go, nice and fast. And then we can kill these guys off relatively quickly as well. Perfect. So you can see here we're going to get the same rotation of rewards as we would have done for the isolation vaults, but across 4 stages. So the early ones you're more likely to get the common rewards, and then the later ones you will be getting the rarer rewards. So let's carry on and we'll see what we get after each stage. Stage 2 done, we get an arcane. Alright, let's see what we get for this stage. Make sure my cat stays alive. Oh, we've got to open the cache. Whoopsie daisy, forgot about that. Alright, so we got some orientation matrices. Good for some standing with Lloyd. Okay, this last one's quite fun. We can actually use Volt's second ability to speed him up as well. Similarly to how we sped Lloyd up. And he is very fast and, generally speaking, much better at parving than Lloyd is. I'm going to use my Exodia Contagion here to just clear out the enemies a bit. Just use Exodia Contagion. There we go. Good. We got ourselves a residual shock, and then we should get a bonus. An Axie G8. That's actually a rarer reward right there, the G8, I believe. Not a part, but you know, that took us 7.5 minutes to complete. Probably would have been under 7 minutes if I had actually done that properly and not wasted time sitting around for that cache earlier on. But as you can see here, we can come straight back out and then head over to Mother again. And we can accept the same mission, Cracks and Deimos again. And as you can see, the Sporothrix barrel still there. Same drop rotation as the vault was. And it's on for another hour and 30 or so. So you can just keep doing these over and over again. And you don't have to leave. So it's a very, very fast way of doing it and farming parts. And if you happen to get any duplicates, you should bear in mind that some of the parts, like the Sporothrix barrel, for example, they can be worth upwards of 40 platinum. So if you do happen to get any duplicates, just go ahead and sell them. And if you're really keen on trying to get them and just, you know, get isolation vaults out of the way, then I would recommend, if you do get a duplicate, either try and trade it directly with another player for the part that you need, or set it for the platinum and use that platinum to buy the next part. That's what I would suggest doing. But let's just have a quick regroup in the orbiter, guys, and then we'll leave the video for now. Alright guys, so hopefully that was useful and it gave you kind of an understanding of how best to run isolation vaults depending on what you're actually aiming for. Like I said before, if you're running in a squad, you might as well take with you maybe a Necros to improve your drop rates from those Necromechs. If you remember at that first bit where we killed them, we had a Kavat buff on, and we were getting so many matrices from them. And if you have a Necromech, you're getting way, way more than that as well. Not Necromech, sorry, a Necros, you're getting way, way more. So bear that in mind, you know, you might as well make the most out of it if you're running in a squad. There's no point in running too many vaults because you only need 1 vault to speed up Lloyd and also that Juggernaut if you happen to get that mission when you're doing the Arcana bounties. So yeah, take a Necros, take something else with a bit more utility to help out. You could even take Nova if you wanted to. Lloyd can travel through Nova portals, so if he happens to get stuck, that's a really good way to actually unstuck him. So yeah, hopefully this was interesting and informative. If it was, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. I'll see you later.